All right, I'm gonna click that off. Okay, like I said, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're coming in from. So today we're gonna do a gift ideas class using FIMO Oven Bake Clay with Stadler North America. So feel free, once you've created your project, to share it with us on social. You can tag Michael's, Stadler North America, or FIMO, and use the hashtags Make It With Michaels or Stadler NA or _NA. And anyway, so let me walk you through a few of the projects and then we'll get started. So we're going to make this is a candle. You can use it as a candle or a vessel, but we're going to use the technique of covering a bowl or glass container with clay in a pattern. So this is going to be making a slab and then using it to cover a vessel. So for this one, I just covered an existing candle, like I'll show you with this one that I have. You just want to make sure that it's in a jar that can go in the oven. Or you can use, like I said, a bowl, and this could be like a candy dish or something like that that you gift to somebody. Another project that we're going to do are these kind of like three-dimensional embellished. So this is a vase that you could use. So it has the rainbow on there that's three-dimensional. Or you can use the same technique to do like a coffee mug. And so you can make it personalized as a gift for somebody as well. And then the third project, if we have time, will be this air plant holder. So it almost looks like a malachite gem, but it is clay, and it's just like a very delicate little thing for an air plant like that. So we are going to get started with our slab because it is the project that takes the longest. So I've already rolled out some clay, but what we're going to do, you're going to need, depending on the size of your container, this is about 1.5 bricks. So this would be like a full brick here. Ooh, kind of froze up for me. So we have a full brick here, and this is 1.5 bricks that we're going to cover this candle. So this one is, I would say, 2 inches by 2 inches in diameter, if that helps. This candle here, that's maybe about 3 inches, 2.5 inches in diameter, took 2 slabs of clay. And that kind of gives you a basis. And so you just want to create your slab by working your clay together until it gets soft. The heat from your hands will warm it up. You can also use a rolling pin or a clay roller to roll it and kind of soften up the clay. Oops, I had just rolled black with that. Let me clean that off. And you don't have to start with white. I just like white because it gives me a good base, but you can start with any color that you want. And we're going to lay our pattern right on this clay slab. So if you want, you know, black with specks of color or yellow or whatever you're going to do, feel free to choose the colors. You just want to make sure that you have enough that can wrap around your vessel. Now, if you don't have a candle in a glass jar, but you want to make a candle, you can also do, like I said here, and this was just a ceramic bowl that I covered. And then you can pour your own candle, make your own candle in that vessel as well. You don't have to use an already store-bought candle. That's actually what I did for this one. This was just a glass cup, drinking glass. And then once I put the clay on, I poured the wax and put the wick in there to create a candle. But the great thing is, since the clay only needs about 15 minutes to bake at 275, so it's a lower temperature, the wax will melt slightly in that time, but the wax can melt and then it'll just cool and it'll reharden into that candle. So you're not going to ruin it or anything by baking it with that wax already in the jar. So as you warm up your clay, again, whatever your base color is, then you're going to roll it out. I would say about 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm just eyeballing this. You want it thick enough that you can roll it a little bit more once you lay your pattern on it to kind of embed that pattern and not get it too thin where it's too difficult to pull up and wrap around your container. And then you're going to lay your container on there and just kind of use it as the guide to make sure that you have your clay rolled out to a wide enough to cover the whole thing and then long enough to cover all around. So as you can see, mine is, I have extra on the top and the bottom, and I will use my utility knife to cut that off once I've done the pattern. And so now I'm just going to unroll it, and then I can start working on my pattern. But that way you can kind of tell if you, oh, let's see. Let's see. Okay, sorry. There's a issue. Looks like a broadband issue. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let me. Sorry. Let me turn the front one. So if I turn off the front video, maybe it'll stop. It'll help with that. Okay, let me know if it works. The duration for baking is about 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch thick it is. All right, sorry, we just had issues with it freezing up. Hopefully that stops now. Okay, so you're gonna roll out your slab about 1/8 inch thick, and just make sure that it covers your vessel, and then we can start on our pattern. So you can do whatever pattern you want. It's really up to you, and this is where you can use your creativity. So for this one, I just cut little pieces of, like I kind of rolled out a color and cut little circles and squares and rectangles to make it look like confetti. Oh, it's still freezing up. 15 minutes for baking. All right. So then you can just use your utility knife to cut off little pieces and press them onto your clay slab to create that confetti look. Any colors that you choose. This is a great way to use up scraps that you have. I'm going to, before I did a jewelry making class and I showed how to do a leopard print pattern, which you could do on this. You could do stripes. You could even do marble, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. That's what this one is. It's kind of like a marbled effect. All right. It's frozen again. I don't know, somebody's saying that it's frozen again. I can go inside and make sure people are off streaming if I need to. So for this one, I'm going to actually do a stripe effect. And so I'm just going to create logs of clay and make stripes down my slab. All right. Well, if I freeze, just let me know and I'll try to go back over what I just did. Right now, I'm just gonna be working this clay and just kind of softening it up a bit. This one's a little crumbly, but if it gets warm. All right.
Hey, Carl, while you're warming that clay up, since it seems like a lot of people are having some issues, I just wanted to give some people some tips. If the video is freezing for you, try to make sure that there is space on your internet for you to view the video. That might mean turning your video off or asking some people in your house to not use the internet. If you can't see Kara's video, try pinning Kara overhead to your screen and you should be able to see her. And if that doesn't work, please try leaving and coming back, and that should fix the problem as well.
Okay, I mean, it is kind of freezing up for me as well, so I can go, I'm sure all my kids are in there streaming stuff right now while I'm like, just keep busy, it's fine. So if I need to send a quick text to them, I can do that as well. All right, so like you see, I just did a long log and then I'm gonna put it right on top of my slab. Again, if you're doing flowers or leopard print or some sort of abstract shapes or confetti, all you're going to really do is just be working your clay. Oops, I don't need that color. And then laying your pattern directly on that slab. So if you ever have questions, I know in several of the classes that I've taught with FIMO, people, a lot of people have questions on how long to bake the clay. On each of the packages on the back in the instructions, it gives you that information. It gives you the oven temperature and the amount, the baking time. So if you forget, feel free, be sure to look on the package so that you can be reminded of exactly what that temperature needs to be. Again, it's 265 Fahrenheit and 15 minutes for every 1/4 of an inch thick it is. So if you're cooking an entire brick like this, you would do it for 30 minutes. So I'm using FIMO Soft. It's just the most, let's say, everyday clay. They have a professional that's a lot harder, but the soft is great for manipulating for crafts like this. They also have a new FIMO leather effect, which is a fun textured clay. So it actually has cellulose fibers in it that when you bake it and kind of pull it apart before you bake it, it looks like actual leather. So I'm just, again, doing a rainbow stripe. So I'm just going through my colors of clay and creating these logs that I'm going to lay on the slab. I'd love to know what patterns you're doing, because it gives me ideas, and it'll kind of maybe give everybody else that's in the class some ideas for different things that they can do. So if you want to add in the chat and let me know what pattern you're going with, like, are you doing stripes or confetti or a floral pattern? And then also, like, who are you making this for? Are you making this for yourself, or are you going to make it for a friend? You're just wanting to craft up some things, feel free to chat with me while we're doing this, because this is a little bit of a just time consuming to create this pattern. Oh, marbled. We've got one doing marbled for herself. So I'll kind of show you the marbling process when we do this air plant holder, because it's the same technique. You would just do it with more clay than the air plant holder so that you can wrap your entire dish, but it's going to be the same process. So once we get to that, I'll kind of show you how you would convert that to a marbled candle holder if you chose to do that instead of patterned. Okay. So she says she's waiting for the marbled. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of talk through it while you guys are creating your slab, but you're going to, for marbled, again, you're going to want probably about at least 2 bricks of clay, depending on the size of your container, but you're going to want a little bit more clay for a marbled effect. You're just going to break it up amongst your colors. And then you're going to roll the colors into logs like this. It doesn't really matter the thickness of them. You just want them all to be roughly the same length. And then you're going to take those colors and twist them together and just keep twisting, and then roll it out into a long log, twist that some more, and then roll it out again, fold it in half, twist it, twist it, twist it, roll it out, and keep doing that until you have the marbled look that you want. This was only a few twists. Like, I only did it twice, where I rolled it out, twisted it, and then rolled it out again and twisted it. The more you twist it, the smaller that marbling will be, and it'll be more blended. Let's see if that will focus. It'll be more blended like this. So you can't really go wrong. Once it gets past this stage, you're like at a solid color. So I guess that would be, then you could just use that in something else if you got to that step and you're like, oh, I marbled it too much. Let me start over. But you're just gonna twist it. And then once you get it to the like, you'll roll it out into the slab, just like we did this one. So, okay, so now I'm gonna do green. And if anybody wants to see a different pattern, oh, I was going to say, I love looking on Instagram for ideas for slabs, because this is the same technique that a lot of people use for jewelry making. If you've seen the clay earrings and clay jewelry that is very popular right now, a lot of those artists will share their slabs on Instagram. So you can just search polymer clay jewelry or polymer clay earrings in the hashtags, and you'll find a lot of different slabs that can give you ideas for things that you can make. So you can use this technique to make earrings and jewelry as well, but you can use those same slab ideas and those same patterns and just kind of translate it to this wrapped candle. All right, somebody said that they recently made some clay earrings and they loved it. So yeah, it's definitely, it's like a different technique. You could just do solid colors and cut them out with like the earring cutter shapes that FIMO sells or Michael sells. But you can also do patterned earrings like this by just creating a slab and then using that to cut out your different shapes. We did an ornament class a couple of weeks ago, and this would be a great way to make patterned ornaments. Like you could just you can make a slab and then use a cookie cutter to cut out the different patterns as well. All right, I don't think I put blue on here, so I'll just do pink at the end. This one's looking very like beachy 70s stripe to me. All right. Oops. So if your clay is crumbly at all, like mine is, because it's a little bit cold right here in my studio, just work it in between your hands a little bit and get that warmed up. The warmer it is and the more you work it, the softer the clay will be and the more easy it is to manipulate. And then same goes if you've been working it too much and it's too soft and it's not holding its shape for you, just cool it down a little bit and it'll tighten back up. All right. So there is my simple stripe pattern. And then, like I said, once you get your pattern all laid out, now this process, depending on how intricate you're going, could take a while. So I'm not gonna be able to sit and wait for everybody to finish their slab, but I'll kind of talk you through the process of what you do once your pattern is complete. And then you can do it once the class is over, or finish it up whenever there's some spare time. Also, if you need to come back to any of these classes, this is being recorded and it will be on Michael's YouTube page as well as michaels.com/classes. So you can always come back and view it again if you're like, I don't remember what I do at this step. The class will be put back on, I guess it's recorded and it'll be there so that you can come back and watch it. So once you have your pattern and it's just laying on top of your slab there, you're going to take your rolling pin and just roll that pattern into your clay so that it creates one solid piece. Now you can see my stripes kind of bent, but you can just kind of put those back into place and roll them. So I did actually, somebody was saying about a class on jewelry. I did teach a class on jewelry. I used the leather effect clay and taught how to make several different pairs of earrings as well as some bangle bracelets. Again, you can find that class at michaels.com/classes in the archives and on their YouTube page. So if you want to go back and check that out and see some of the techniques and the different, again, in that one I made the leopard print leather, that's the tongue twister, earrings and some bangle bracelets, all out of the FIMO leather effect clay. And that was a pretty fun class. Okay, my stripes are bunching up, so I'm just kind of pulling them as I roll so I can kind of keep them straight there as much as possible. Oh, thank you. Somebody took that class, or at least watched that leather effect jewelry class video. So that's awesome that you came back. Thank you for coming back to my other class. All right, so now my pattern is embedded in my clay, and this is why you want it to be a little bit thick, because you don't want this rolling process to make your clay too thin. You still want to be able to handle it and pull it all up like this. I feel like this looks like a big piece of rainbow pasta or something. I don't know if you can see, but it's all embedded and it's not laying on top of the surface anymore. And that's kind of what you want to do with your pattern once you have it done. And then you can use your utility knife to trim off the ends and just even that up on one side. I'm just squaring off this side, and that will be one side that I start with on when I start to roll it up. Okay, so once you have your piece, and as you can see here, I have this side cut flush and even, and then this side is still irregular, and I'll cut that once I've applied it to my glass container. And so I'm going to start on this side, and I'm just going to put the container on there and press the clay onto the surface just with my hands. And then I'm going to slowly roll it up, trying to keep it straight. Now, you can do this with a curved surface. This marbled bowl that I did is curved, and so is this candle. Here, the bottom is curved. I don't know if you can kind of tell that here. It curves down. So you can do this technique with a curved surface. It is a lot easier with a cylinder. So that's why I chose this candle to start for tonight. But, oh, sorry. I don't know how to take that off. Okay. And then now I have it all the way up and I have it where it overlaps here. And so I'm going to kind of press it so I can see where to cut. And then I'm going to take my utility knife and just cut right along that seam where where the other end is. Let's see. So as you can see here, now there's a little bit of a gap. That's okay. You're going to take your rolling pin and just kind of roll gently over that. So I'm going to line these stripes up a little, try to line these up a little bit more, a little better. And you're just going to kind of press the clay here together to bring it next to each other. And then you'll take your rolling pin and just very gently go over this seam to kind of join that seam together and join that clay together there and make it one piece. So, and that's just really gently. I'm not really pressing it hard. I'm not trying to thin out the clay. You can also take your clay and just kind of roll it on your surface or your container and roll it on your surface like this to join that as well. So now you can see that it is all joined up and that clay is touching and bonded with each other. So that seam, you can still see it visibly on mine because I have stripes and I did not line them up well, but the clay is joined together. And then you're going to take your utility knife and just cut off the extra clay at the bottom and at the top ridge. So this is where it's great to have a sharp knife because mine is not wanting to cut. Hold on. There we go. Just kind of use the bottom of the vessel as a guide and press that blade. I can't really do it well here. So I'm just pressing that blade flush against the bottom of the vessel and cutting off that extra clay. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of press it under any extra and put it down. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the top, and I'm just gonna use the blade to cut off any extra clay that is sticking up over the top of the candle. Now I know I'm talking about this as far as a candle goes, but you can actually use this technique to do a flower vase as well. Just do it on an empty container, and then you'll have a little flower vase that you can add some flowers to, or add flowers to and give it as a gift all together. And then they can reuse that vase. All right, so I just went around the edge with the X-Acto knife, and now you see I have a nice, clean, smooth edge for my candle. And again, you're gonna bake this at 265 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. My clay isn't too thick, so it's definitely within that 1/4 inch measurement. And so I'm gonna just bake this for 15 minutes. I would put it on a baking sheet and bake it upright so that when that wax melts a little bit, it just stays in the candle vessel. And then once it cools, you can take it out of the oven, and that wax will reharden and it'll be a usable candle. All right, so there we go. Stripe. I got black soot from the candle on my hands and on my clay, so don't do that. Use a new unused candle so you don't run into that issue. But if you happen to get black or a different color of the clay on there, once it's baked, you can actually sand it with a little bit of fine sandpaper and get that off. So it's not a deal breaker. All right. Does anybody have any questions? That was about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna kind of move on to the next crafts. Again, you can always come back and rewatch these videos if you're confused or if you forgot a step. They will be posted online tomorrow or Saturday. All right, so next we're going to do either a personalized mug or a flower vase with a pattern on it. So for this one, I did a marbled clay, and then I used a cookie cutter that I used for crafting to cut out the initial. And for this one, I just rolled the logs like I just did and formed it into a rainbow. And I'll show you that really quick. So you're just going to roll out your clay to roughly the same diameter logs. This technique, I've also done it with, I made a monstera leaf and I put those around the vase. So you're not limited to a rainbow. You can use cookie cutters that you use for crafting to cut out any sort of shape that you want, maybe a cactus or stars, and you do a gold or a yellow clay and you cut out little star shapes and you put it around the vase. All of that works. That's also a great idea for the slabs. You could do a slab and then actually cut out shapes so that that candle shines through once you've baked it. So you could cut out little star shapes or polka dots or something like that, and then that candle light will shine through those holes in your slab. So that's also a fun technique that you could try with that candle slab vessel, I guess, whatever you want to call it. All right, so for the rainbow, it's pretty simple. You're just rolling the clay into logs. The size of them will just depend on what container you're putting them on. Then you're gonna bend it into that rainbow shape. And I don't worry about the ends until the very last color is on, and then I'll cut it all at once to even it up. But and this is definitely not in rainbow colors. I have my green way in there. Okay, let's start over. Do that, get a little bit of the yellow. Yeah, for Valentine's Day coming up, you could make a flower vase with little hearts on it. You just cut out little heart shapes from the clay and press those around, or even just spell out something. Like maybe you want to spell out the person's name or love. Use those cookie cutters to roll out or to cut out the clay letters and press those on as well. Okay, so I have my little rainbow. The ends are all uneven. I'm just gonna use my X-Acto knife to cut that and even it up. And then I have my rainbow. Oops. Here. So now the technique with this and getting it on a curved surface like a glass or a vase or a coffee mug is to actually bake it on that surface, and it kind of adheres depending on how well you've pressed it on there. So I'm just gonna do it on the other side of this coffee mug, and I'm just gonna press it, put it into place and kind of press it on there. And then when I go to bake it in the oven, I'm just going to prop this on my oven rack directly. Now you can put it on a cookie sheet or something and put some sort of propped, maybe some rice or something that you can like nestle it in so that it stays upright and doesn't rock or roll. But I actually just like to cook it directly like this on my oven rack grates, and it kind of holds in place that way. So then you can just bake it again, 265 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. And then that will actually be fairly stuck on there. Now, if it's something like a vase, I would say that this probably would work just like this. But if it's a coffee mug, you might want to, once it's been baked, use, you can just kind of pop it off and use a little bit of super glue to make sure that it's glued on and really adhered to the surface so that it, when somebody's hand washing it and stuff, it doesn't come off. But the super glue will attach it, and then you can have your own personalized coffee mug or a flower vase with whatever pattern you choose. And now you can do, you don't have to just do a rainbow or one thing, like you can do all over the item, however you want to do it. But it's a great little gift idea. And especially if you add, you know, some like a symbol that the person loves or the gift recipient, or even, like I said, their initial, or maybe a word or something that is special to them. It's a great little easy gift idea that makes it custom and personalized for them. Okay, so our final project will be this air plant holder. And again, this will be where I show you a little bit more of the marbling technique that you can use for your symbols for the coffee mugs or for your containers, like I did this one. So you can use the same marbling technique with different colors to get different looks. But for the malachite one, you're going to need black and green. If you can do 2 shades of green, do it. If you only have one, that's fine. It'll still look good, but you definitely need black to give those dark colors in there. And you can even add a little white, which I did in this one to kind of just give a little bit more of a color variation, but definitely need the blacks and the greens. And again, you're going to roll them out into a log shape. These are, I would say, maybe not even half an inch, less than half an inch, but definitely more than 1/4 of an inch. We just kind of want them roughly to be around the same length. The vessel that you put, yes, I would put, somebody was asking if the vessel needs to be oven safe. I definitely wouldn't do it on something that isn't oven safe. So I wouldn't put it on plastic. I would make sure that it's either a ceramic or a glass container that can go in the oven and not bust or break or melt. And then, yes, you could definitely marble leftover clay from the vessel. Just take that and you can, you know, kind of rework it a little bit, twist it up, roll it back out, and you can cut out letters or shapes for your vase. If you're using these colors, I mean, if you're going to do like, you can do the air plant holder in any colors, really. You don't have to have it be the malachite. I just kind of like how that looks like a malachite, like a piece of malachite. But you can do any sort of marble colors for it as well if you want. Okay, so I'm just kind of twisting it together to create this, you know, just massive twist. And then I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to twist it again. And this is just how you marble. It's just kind of keep twisting. That just kind of broke. So I'm just going to roll it into a log together and then just twist it some more and just twist, 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 twist. Like you see now, you can still see all of the colors. They're fairly separated. The more you twist, the more blended they will get. And with the malachite look, you kind of want to twist it a lot. So I'm just going to keep rolling it, folding it in half, rolling that into a new log and then twisting again. And I'll probably do this 5 or 6 times to really get that clay blended together and get that marble look. Sorry, I'm trying not to shake the table too much. Okay, so I did that, rolled it out. Now I'm just gonna twist it again. This is a project that my kids really like to do. They like to twist and marble because it's easy for them. I mean, I've got between a 7 and 12-year-old, so they like to just pick their colors and twist them and marble them together. And if you took the ornament class or the gift topper class that I did, we kind of used this technique to make candy canes. So you just kind of twist it and then bend it into a candy cane shape, and that makes a great ornament. Not with this one, this kind of looks like a snake, but if you do red and pink, you know, or red and white, gets you that candy cane look. Okay, so now you can see that it's those twists and the colors are getting blended a little bit more. The colors are smaller. And so now again, I'm just gonna roll it. You just wanna kind of get this very blended together. So I'm rolling it back out and I'm just gonna twist it some more. I didn't specify, but this is about half a brick of each color for this plant holder. I feel like I should have put a little bit more black in this one. I'm gonna just add that now. So if you start to twist, like you can see here, I'm just kind of like troubleshooting as I go. Oops. As I'm twisting it, I'm like noticing that it's really green. It's really bright green and not so much of the darker malachite look that I want. So I'm gonna add a little bit more black. I have a little bit more of a black roll here and I'm just gonna stick it in there and just twist it up. It will work well. Just kind of wanna, so that's always what I tell the kids. It's like, if it's not working or doesn't look, you know, just pivot and add to it and make it, and maybe it turns into something different. But with this one, I think I can add some black now since we're still in the marbling process. It'll just blend on in there. Somebody was saying you can also make this as a tea light holder. I'm assuming they're saying the air plant holder. Yes, you could probably do it as a tea light holder. You just might want to do it a little bit thicker than I made the air plant holder so that it can hold that tea light container. Okay, now we're finally getting to some of this marbling. My clay was just a little bit cold, so it was starting to crumble, so I needed to warm it up some. So now, as you can see, that marbling is really starting to take shape and those colors are blending more and the color stripes are smaller. And we're just gonna keep doing this. Okay, I think maybe 1 or 2 more times and will be a good blend. Okay, I'm gonna fold it in half. All right, so definitely think we are in that marble look now. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to fold it in half and roll it into one final log. And then I'm going to roll it out into a rectangle shape. So I've got it folded in half. I'm just gonna roll this together. Blend that together, squish it. And then I'm going to roll this out with my rolling pin. And I just want to get it into, this is roughly, I would say 2 inches wide bite was probably 10 or so inches long, 8 to 10 inches long. And then as you press, you can see that that marble pattern really starts to emerge, and it really creates that marbling malachite look. So I'll hold that up so you can kind of see that. You can see how it starts to swirl as you roll it out and create that gemstone-y look. Now, if you start to roll it out like this and you're like, I don't like it, I want it to be blended a little bit more, just roll it back up into a log and twist it some more. Like this one, I probably twisted up a little bit more to blend that green, that bright green in a little bit further, but I think it'll be fine. But, you know, just play around with it. And if you're like, I just don't like, you know, I want this to be more blended, just roll it back up and twist it some more. Sorry, I'm trying not to shake the table. So I'm trying to roll very firmly, but not too violently that it shakes the table up. Okay. And every once in a while, I like to kind of pull my clay off the surface so that it's not getting permanently stuck there, so that when I go to remove my pattern, it's not, or my clay at the very end, it's not going to break on me, just like it would be cookie dough or something like that. If you're rolling it out, you're just going to want to move it around every so often. All right. Oh yeah, see, like it just did there. If it does break on you, so if it's cold, you just need to warm up that clay some so that it stops breaking. And you can just kind of press it back together and then do rolling pin over it. This is where working on like a parchment, piece of parchment as well, because you can just pull that parchment off the back, peel that off the back instead of trying to peel your clay off of the surface. Peel the surface off the clay. All right. Okay, so for this holder, you're going to want it to be fairly thick so that it kind of holds its shape and is sturdy enough to support the air plant and stand up on its own. So I would say a good 1/4 inch thick is probably what you're going to want to keep it at, and not really get any thinner than that, or the clay could break under the weight of the air plant. Okay, so I have my clay. I rolled over those seams where it broke. Nobody will be the wiser. And now I'm going to cut it into a rectangle, just using my utility knife. You can use a ruler as well to guide you if you want it to be more precise. But I'm just going to visually do this. And then cut off. So you just basically want it to be straight edged rectangle. There's no exact measurement for this. Really, it's just kind of the size that you like, I would say. This looks like it's about 6 inches by 2 inches. But as you can see there, we just have a rectangle slab. So this is how you would do a marbled slab for your vessel, and then just wrap it around the vessel and seal the edges like we did. Now for the air plant holder, we're going to cut a circle. So you can use either a cookie cutter or your utility knife to cut a circle. Again, you want to make sure that the edges have enough that they can remain sturdy once baked and support that plant. So I'm just creating a little circle there. Now, the real key to this is when you go to bake it and how you get this curved shape. And I actually bake it on a glass container. So I take the clay slab and I will put it on the container, making sure to have this at the very top and making sure the edges are relatively even. It's best if you could do a cylinder. Again, like if you have a cylinder vase or a drinking glass that you can use so that the edges are straight down like that. But I'll kind of show you on this glass. And then again, I just put this in the oven on the oven rack, directly on the oven rack, 265 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. And that will set that clay, and then you can just kind of pop it off the surface once it's baked, and then it'll stand up on its own. Let's see this, and then you can just put your air plant in there. So I think the hole doesn't quite matter. You just need to make it big enough that the bottom of an air plant could go in there. So it really depends on the size of one that you're doing. This hole that I cut is maybe about 1 inch in diameter, and this one that I cut was maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Well, maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, yeah, in diameter. You just want to make sure that it's, you know, not a teeny tiny one. You need to be able to have that stem in the bottom of that air plant to be able to fit in that hole so that it has somewhere to hang out. All right. So that is those are the 3 projects. So we have the slab, candle or vase, or even just a little candy dish or vessel, however you want to do it. This could be like a little jewelry box, something like that that people could use. But it's all the same technique of just creating that pattern slab and then rolling it around the vessel and then sealing up that edge and then cutting off any extra that hangs over the bottom and on the top. Second one are the mug with our shapes on there, or a customized marbled letter or any sort of colored letter, or the flower vase with a pattern piece. Again, you could do little stars or initials or words, monstera leaves, any sort of cookie cutter shape that you want. And then if you need to, after it's baked, just super glue that shape on there to really make sure that it holds well. And then our air plant holder. All right. Okay, so somebody did ask, I was gonna ask questions. Okay, so then we have our air plant holder. So for each project, it depends on, I mean, it's gonna be hard for me to tell you exactly how much you're going to need. So for this vessel, it was 2 inches tall by 2 inches in diameter. And I used, I used about 1.5 bricks of white clay and then just a little line of each of the other clays. So this is 1 brick that comes in the package. I used 1.5 of these of the white, and then I used 1 line of each of these, so 1/8 of a package for the colors of each color. A larger vessel like this might need 2 bricks of clay. I definitely think it's better to have too much than too little, because you can always use up those scraps in other ways. Like this was a little bit of the extra that I had from my stripes, but I could cut it like 2 circles out of this and make some fun earrings or something like that to give as a gift as well. But you can also take this, roll it up and marble it and cut it out as well, make little marble shapes. The air plant holder, you're going to use about 1/2 brick of each color. So 1/2 brick of black, 1/2 brick of green, 1/2 brick of the other green. If you're just using one of the greens, then you're going to need a full brick of that and 1/2 brick of black. The instructions for all of these should also be on the class description or in the email that you received. I did type up instructions for each of them, each of these projects. So you should have gotten that along with the materials that you needed in case you need to double check that afterwards. These 3D embellishments on the glasses, that's really just going to depend on what you're making and what kind of shape you're doing, and if you're doing it all over the glass or not. But most of these projects take 2 bricks or less of clay. So I think it just really kind of depends on what you're doing, what you're making, and you can always return extra clay that you don't use or open, or just save it for another project, or give it as part of your gift maybe, and then your recipient can be crafty as well. So there's lots of options. Again, feel free to share any of your projects with me, or you can hold them up right now. I'd love to see what you've created. If any of you guys were able to make anything or decorate any of those vases, I'd love to see it. And then if you do share it on social media, be sure to tag Michaels and Stadler North America and Kylo Chic, because we'd love to see your projects as well. But if anybody has any other questions right now, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to sign off for the night. So feel free to add the chat. I'll wait a little bit. We're good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I hope you had fun crafting with FIMO and that you learned something new. And again, feel free to, check out my Instagram at Kylo Chic. It's KAILOCHIC. I've got lots of fun, crafty ideas there if you haven't already. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a good night. Bye.